Without wasting any more time, the microphone will be yielded to the great Edmund Obilo, who will be the moderator for these particular events. So let's welcome the moderator of this panel, Edmund Obilo. Please, a round of applause for Edmund. A round of applause for Edmund, please. All right, so let me begin to invite the members of the panel. I'd like to welcome Professor Jonathan Oyebamiji Babalola, if he's here. A round of applause for Prof. Please, a resounding applause for Prof, please. Thank you. On his heels, I also want to welcome Professor Kayode Oyebode is ably represented by DVC Academics. Ma, a round of applause for her as she's coming up, please. A round of applause for her as she's coming up, please. Yes. All right, it's Professor Aderonke Bayoroju is representing the Vice Chancellor of University of Ibadan, right here. Welcome, ma'am. Yeah. Also, I don't know if he's still here, Professor Dahoud Kehinde Shangodoyin. I've seen him around earlier. Professor Shangodoyin, is he still here? Okay. All right, he's not here yet. Let me also make welcome on this panel, Professor David Norris. Professor Norris is also one of the members of this panel. He's a Vice Chancellor, University of Botswana. Oh, welcome, sir. All right, so I was just looking around for him. So he's here. Professor Dahoud Shangodoyin is here with us at this time as a Commissioner for Works and Transport. So the panelists are already seated. As I said earlier, they will be looking at measuring and assessing the benefits of international strategic partnerships in student exchange program. The moderator just told me that the panelists will give their addresses addressing the issue, and then we'll recap at the end of the day. So we will not be having question and answer session on this, but after, I'm sure that the moderator will help us. Before I hand over the microphone, Professor Oluyemisi Bangbose, Professor of Law and Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Research, Innovation and Strategic Partnership, University of Ibadan, is here. I want to welcome you very warmly, sir. A round of applause for her. Ma. Thank you, Ma. Welcome, Ma. Thank you so much. All right, so thank you, everyone. Edmund, you have the floor.
Thank you, Sheung. And let me welcome everyone once more to this event. We want to look at the subject, measuring and assessing the benefits of international strategic partnerships in student exchange program. And from this discourse, there are lessons to be learned. So let's kick off by understanding the subject. And I want to start with Professor Jonathan Oyebamiji Babalola to start looking at this subject. Take us into it, and we'll put it up from there.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the Yorubas have this adage, Agbajowo la fin soya. And then they say that you cannot use one hand to carry a load and put it on your head. If you have eaten, you want to clean your hand, that means you need another hand to actually make it cleaner. And that is just to teach us a lesson that there's nothing you can do all alone, that you have it in a better form than when you interact with others and then you have things done completely. And when you talk about student exchange, that means you are asking your student to go elsewhere, another student is coming elsewhere. Well, we've all experienced it one way or the other. And I want to tell you, to have a full person, somebody who actually attended the university. You know, when you talk about a university, you talk about the universality of a university. That means a university is not local. It's something that is global. For you to have attended the university, there's something we expect to see in you. And whatsoever you do, you're able to say, okay, he's been there, he knows this, he knows that. So the only way you can do it is to actually experience what university is as a university all over. I remember that culture-wise, I will probably be completely off. But the major things I learned in culture when I had the opportunity to do an exchange was the fact that I discovered that our languages are different. I visited India. They were talking. I nodded my head. My head was to mean yes, as a Nigerian. To an Indian, it was a no. I was in Germany. My colleague was doing this way. In Nigeria, that means come. To a German, to an Italian, it's bye-bye. I hope you can see. So if I've not been exposed, I would definitely not understand it as that. And I need to say that nobody actually has the entire knowledge. As you go there, you learn from them. They also learn from us. If you discover one thing about Nigerian students, anytime they go out, you find them excel. Even when they don't seem to have performed so well here. It's the environment that has made all the difference. I've supervised about 19 PhD students. None of them completed their work here. They actually have to go there because the facilities are not here. So by the time they go there, they are able to learn a number of things. By the time they come back here, when they teach students in their own various universities too, they teach them things they never experienced before. So I think I will just stop here because I believe it should be an opportunity to discuss and interact. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Babalola. Thank you. So when we are talking about strategic partnership, Professor David Norris, what is that? What is strategic partnership?
In brief, it means what value you get out of a partnership. In most instances, we love just going into partnerships, signing MOUs. But if you don't know what you're going to get out of it, you'll be piling these MOUs, they'll be gathering dust, and nothing come out of them. So you must know what is it that you really want to get out of the partnership. After determining what you want to get out of the partnership, and by the way, it's very important to point one thing, that is the partnership of mutual benefit, or is it lopsided? Most of the time you find that you are into a partnership, but one party benefits, the other party doesn't benefit. And in other instances, you find that the other party dictates what should be done in the partnership. The other party just follows. That's a lopsided partnership. And therefore, it doesn't really help the other party. It should be a partnership where there's mutual benefit. Thank you.
Strategic partnership. So we are getting into the subject. Let me come to the DVC before I come to the commission. Professor Adironke, we are talking about student exchange program. Is anything like that happening in UI at this point?
Oh, yes. In the University of Ibadan, we have quite a few linkages with other universities, not only in Africa, in Europe, in America, where we exchange students. And I mean, one of the groups that come to us regularly is a group from the US who come in to learn Yoruba at our Yoruba Language Center. This has been going on now for about 20 years. And every year, we have a group about between 10 and 20 students who come in for about 3 months to learn Yoruba. By the time they leave the university, they have become quite versatile in Yoruba speaking, in the Yoruba culture, and they've been able to go around quite a bit. And when we send our students over there, not to learn Yoruba, but to learn other things, they come back with what we call soft skills that make them more available to the workforce in Nigeria. Because we all know that in Nigeria today, it's not just the knowledge that people need. Employers of labor will tell you they need people who have skills. And our students, when they go on these different exchange programs, come back more rounded, globally relevant, and they get jobs faster than when they don't have the exchange programs at all. So I find these exchange programs very relevant to our students. We shouldn't say because there's not enough funding. We should find the funds to send our students on exchange programs. Luckily, at the moment, we do have some scholarships that help us to do this. And we have some donors who give towards exchange programs. So honestly, exchange programs is a bedrock of student learning. Thank you very much.
Are we doing enough yet?
No, we're not doing enough. We're not doing enough. I mean, we wish we could do a lot more, but as I said, funding is still a problem.
Professor Songodoyin, can you intervene?
Thank you so much. Like the last speaker said, the bedrock of learning is exchange program. It gives you a global view of your program. But there are strategies which a exchange program must also follow in terms of support, in terms of monitoring, in terms of innovation. Last year, it's actually October 19th, we were in Canada. University of New Brunswick had a conference on innovation, and we traveled, represented the governor of Oyo State there. Now, the strategies which I know very well and worked for us when I was in Botswana is the mutual benefits which my VC, David, mentioned. Not only that, there are 3 things we must look at. We want to look at the program. The first one is availability of technology. We looked at that in Canada, and we said we must do more in innovative way to adapt simple technology that university community can actually enjoy. In Botswana, you can actually work within your house and score your student, mark your student, and they will be happy. Now, the second option is the completion time. Let me tell you something. If you have a program that takes more than 7 years and one that takes you just 2 years to complete, you will pick the one for 2 years because the same content. So turnover of students is very important in terms in the study exchange program. And the last one is the issue of finance. You see, you want to go to Botswana, and Botswana may say, we'll give you same rate as our locals. Other than those that will go abroad, you take $30,000 US, $40,000 US to pay in US for the same program that you can enjoy the same value in Botswana or in Nigeria. So look at these things, and that alone is what makes you to say, yes, I'll kick into this student exchange program. Besides, you have to also watch the partnership. I've served in the University of Botswana. I've also worked in University of Westview, Durban Westview, now KwaZulu-Natal. I've worked in University of Zululand. I've worked in Lesotho. I've worked in University of Badan. And I know the culture. When Nigerian government under Jonathan helped us with third form, I brought in 115 students to Botswana, and they are all completed their PhD degrees. I can mention their names. They are all over the world now. So the joy of student exchange program is for you to have value for what you want to go and do, and for even the system itself to enjoy that. Yes, you are back home now, and you are actually helping the system. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Sangudui. Thank you. We have Professor Go Kanwen. He will be contributing online. I hope Professor Wen is ready. Professor Wen, you've been listening to us. Strategic Partnership in Student Exchange Program. So we want to hear from you.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. I think when we talk about strategic partners, I'm very glad that I think I'm the only Asian sitting in this hall talking to everyone. I want to thank my partner university, my partners in Africa country, which is our professor Ladukun Olasola. She's the one, nominate my name to the organizer, invite me for this event. I'm very glad. So basically, when we talk about partners, strategic partners, how we want to build the relationship with all the foreign university, and then build a good relationship that can contribute for each other grow in every aspect. And just for your information, in the International University, in the latest HQS Asia ranking, we just win the #1, the champion of inbound student exchange in Asia. So we have the largest number of inbound students coming to my university for the past 1 year. So actually our intention to have all these inbound student exchange program is because INTI International was very famous with all the transfer program. We were the very unique university in Malaysia that attract all the Southeast Asia students come to Malaysia and study abroad. So if you check online about INTI International University, you can see we are very famous with all the twinning program. We work closely with all the UK university. We have been working closely with Hertfordshire University for the past 30 years, Coventry University for the past 30 years. So and we having twinning the dual degree program, also with the twinning program and also the articulation program with them. And we also work with a lot of US university. And that's why you check online, we are famous in all the American transfer program and Australia transfer program and also the Canada transfer program. So all this actually, our intention is earlier our role of this university, having this university is to try to send all the Asian students to study abroad to widen their global view. And why we have done so well in the inbound student exchange, because some of the students can't afford to go study abroad. So we try to, when we cannot send them to the world, we try to bring the world to them. So we actually bring in a lot of students like from Japan, from Korea, from India, China, Nigeria, and when you come to Malaysia and study abroad, you can also having the same spending a lesser cost, but you still gaining the degree from UK. So the quality of the education actually same, but you are actually mingle around with all the people in Asia. Yeah, so I think what the important point that I want to bring up here is the global engagement or the study abroad actually can really bring widen the global view of all the students. That's what we are trying to do all the while in INTI International.
Thank you, Professor
Over
Wen.
to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We have raised the issue of not doing enough, That's the point Professor Adironke has made. Professor Daoud Sogodoyin was telling us about his efforts, and Botswana rang a bell. Let me speak to Professor Norris. You want to confirm some of the points Professor Daoud Sogodoyin has made about Botswana. Why should I come to Botswana?
Yeah, no, certainly I can confirm what he's saying. You see, one of the things that one must do as an institution, if you want to internationalize your institution, there has to be structures, university structures to support that. We have an international office. There is staffed, so there's staff for international office, and we budget for it. So these are the things that you must put in place if you really want for this thing to be successful. So really this is the starting point. Is there structure? Is there staffing? Is there budget? So there has to be a commitment, a deliberate commitment to say this is something that I believe in. If you don't believe in it, you may not budget for it, you may not set up a structure. So for us, the building block was just that structure and the budget for it.
Who sets up the structure and who builds the policy?
It's a university policy.
Good.
It's a university policy.
Yes. Professor Babalola, now, setting up this structure, setting up the budget, how do we go about it?
Thank you. Well, I work in a private university. Now, my answer will be a bit different from when, well, I'm still part of UI at any rate. It's the university strategic plan that initially actually have to take care of it. And the reality is that if there's a university strategic plan, you don't want to be a local university. No, we're just talking with a colleague now. He told me, oh, there's this professor who never traveled out of Nigeria before. You know, it would be surprising. What about all the conferences? Are there people who knows the fellow within the same field? So the strategic plan ought to have taken care of such things. So if the strategic plan has taken care of it, the council has approved it, then each year in the budget, there will be this amount of money for internationalization. And if that budget is there, then you know you are going to spend it on it. Actually, some kind of thing I did, I was still sharing with a colleague now. The money was not there. I was just unfortunate. I didn't get anything from the Nigerian government or from University of Ibadan since I joined until a few years ago. But all I was doing was look out for opportunity outside and grab the opportunity. You know, there are these things that once you apply, it comes on merit. Nobody looks at, you know this person, and you also know that many of our things is who you know that actually helps. So the plan I had was that before I take on a graduate students, I've done an assessment, and I know that this guy is good enough. I should be able to sell this guy and get a scholarship. And that's what I did for all my PhD students. So I specifically look out, okay, this guy is good enough. Many of them use DRD. Some of them used to us CSR. Some of them used to us CMPQ. So I looked around for scholarship, and then that is the kind of thing I use for the exchange on personal level. But as a university, really, there should be a budget. But the question you ask me is that, is there any kind of budget for any federal university for such a thing now? The answer is no. The answer is no. They give envelope. The envelope is not enough for amenities. So where do you want the money to come from? So I think we have to stop talking, like he said, and we should start acting. Thank you.
I think Professor Adironke should come in now. And as you come in, I also want you to measure the benefits of student exchange program. Now he has raised the point. Is there a budget? Is there a budget?
Well, at the University of Ibadan, we have the Office of International Programs, and that office is the office that takes care of all the internationalization in the university. Now, we also have the Office of the DVC, Research, Innovation, and Strategic Partnerships. And this office also works in conjunction with the Office of International Programs to create the avenue for both students and staff to have exchange programs. Now, a lot of our students that currently are on exchange programs are actually on scholarship because the funding, as I said, is not available. At the moment, we generally look out. I mean, that Office of International Programs actually looks out for funding from donors. Some of them are actually Nigerian donors, and some are from, from the UK, from Europe, from America, and sometimes even from the African Union. So when we get some funding like that, the office actually then advertises, and on merit, it is not who you know. I mean, it's well known that at the University of Ibadan, you don't, even if you know the Vice Chancellor, you won't get it if you don't get it on merit. So on merit, we choose those who would go for these exchange programs. And as I said, when people go out for these exchange programs, they come back well-rounded. They come back with ideas. For our staff in particular, they come back with research ideas, and they come in and they get more funding to fund their research. Grants, sometimes from TED Fund, sometimes from abroad. But they get funding, and then they perform their research. At the University of Ibadan, we're well recognized for our research output. And that's why we get more grants. Because as you know, the government cannot in any way fund all that we do. Research-wise, or they can't even pay for amenities alone, not to pay for research. So we need to get get grants from out there. But yes, what does it do to us? When our staff or our students go out, as I said, they come back more enabled, they're more capable of going through their research, and for the students, they have developed more soft skills. They're skill-based, and then by the time they go out to look for employment, they're employed very quickly because they have the skills that's needed for those jobs.
Professor Songodoyin, let's measure it. Student exchange program, what is it doing for Nigeria's development?
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Let me just come out to give you analysis from the ones we had many years ago. Number one, there is an expansion of knowledge base in terms of skills, in terms of technicalities, and so on. And for Nigeria, we have trained in Botswana a professor who is now a director at the Central Bank of Nigeria. And his work there is actually on their data production. Now, he's well skilled because he learned it while he was in Botswana. Number two, we have actually trained some that are, apart from being in academics, they are also, they've expanded their grants skills now, because in Botswana, you cannot say you want to get a grant within your department. It has to be a collegiate approach. While you are in medicine, I've worked with them in Faculty of Medicine to get grants. I've worked with them in Faculty of Engineering to get grants. So yes, they are here. Even at the University of Ibadan, they do have similar network in terms of skills expansion. So for Nigerians who are in Botswana, who are in KwaZulu-Natal, and back home now, they are resourceful and they are actually doing excellently well. Let me tell you that in Botswana, the first PhD we produced 14 years ago in statistics is a Nigerian. The first PhD we produce in Faculty of Business is a Nigerian. The first PhD we produce Faculty of Engineering at University of Botswana is a Nigerian. So, and they are doing very well. For that other one is in Michigan now. He's watching me now. The first professor of the first PhD in engineering. So it's doing well all over. So Nigeria is gaining because we want knowledge economy. That's it. We should focus on that now. Because when we do student exchange, staff exchange, it's knowledge economy. So you introduce whatever knowledge you have gained in that area. And before you know it, actually Botswana has that in the 2030 agenda to be a project, because I was part of those who wrote that strategy. So Nigeria should also focus on knowledge economy. Thank you.
Wow. We are also talking to young persons here. Because when we are talking about student exchange, we're also talking about the future. In terms of measuring it, I always dream of a Nigeria that is technically advanced. And we should begin to see the impact of knowledge in Nigeria's economy. Though I have not seen enough of it, we are moving and we will get there. As we round off, let me ask Professor Wen, why should I come to Malaysia?
Okay, I think that's the right question you asked me. Why? Because just for your information, Malaysia sharing the same longitude as together with Nigeria. So meaning our climate, environment are quite similar. So just now I think one of the professor did mention sometimes, you know, the student come, they finish their project, they come home, they cannot contribute to the country because we experience this, especially those students coming from the four-season country, different climate with us. So when they are here to study those postgraduate program and do the research, once they going back to their country, actually they're facing problem that apply all the technology learned or knowledge transfer to the country. So they fail when they go back home. So that's why we actually when we accept this kind of student from this different climate zone, okay, we usually ask them stay at your country, find your country problem, then bring it here, then we study together, then you actually can work with the team in your country to work together so that you actually then the knowledge actually can really transfer back to your country and apply while you're doing your PhD. So for country like us, okay, Nigeria and Malaysia, we sharing the similar climate. Of course, the soil type might be different. We're talking about the economy of agriculture or whatever. But I think a lot of research or technology we actually can share. And one of the best part that you come to Malaysia here, because just for your information, now Nigeria listed as the top 6 population in the world. I guess you all know. And if you look at the top 6, there are 4 countries from Asia. Number 1 is India, number 2 is China, then we have number 4 from Indonesia, and number 5 is actually from Pakistan. And all this country is actually from Asia. And if you go to Google Malaysia, why this Malaysia, this country is so special, you will realize actually Malaysia is a country that built by the 3 main race ethnic, which is Chinese, Malay which is from Indonesia, and also India. And we also have a lot of Pakistanis migrant to Malaysia. So actually, this is a very a country that mix and blend all the culture of Asia. So the advantage that you come to Malaysia and you will learn all the cultural, the behavior of all these 4 countries, which is in future, I guess, when their country really grow up, they will control the economy of the world. So as Nigeria now, you plan to study abroad, and you, as you all also like to study those UK degree, we also offer UK degree, which you can do it in Malaysia within 3 years, complete it in 3 years, and obtain your degree from UK, exactly the same, especially like Hertfordshire University, Coventry University, you know. But you are actually learning in the environment in a cheaper place, which is a cost effectively, and environment also similar to Nigeria, but you learn the culture of Asia. So trust me, I think now everyone is looking at the growth of the ASEAN in the near future. That it will give a very big impact to the economy of the world. I think that's what I want to share to all of you.
Thank you, Professor Wen. And I can confirm some of the points he has made. Something is happening in Asia. In fact, Asia is about to control the world. And that's why recently I decided to embark on a trip to Asia to see what is going on. Vietnam, after fighting a war for more than 20 years, is rising so fast. If you go to that axis, China, Malaysia, Thailand, Korea, Japan, you know, in politics, there's what you call the long circle theory. How what civilization moves in a circle. It has moved to Asia. They are coming. And when I ask the question that Asia is here, when is Africa coming? And Africa is also coming. But there's something happening in Asia. So as a student, you should be looking in that direction. A lot is going on there. And as we round off, I'll just give you one minute to sum up your views. Let's start from Professor Aderoke, the DVC.
Well, I think we've all brought out the importance of exchange programs because it gives our students a more rounded outlook to life. They're better equipped to work out there, whether they're working in Nigeria or working anywhere abroad. I think we must all, as educationists, ensure that our students come out better than we came out. Because when we came out of university, we had nothing much to do with exchange programs. Nowadays, there's so much out there. And as we said, it's not only about Europe and America. Exchange programs in Africa are very rewarding. And we also heard about Malaysia. Exchange programs are rewarding. And I think that's the message we should take home from this conference.
Professor Songodoyin, who are you taking to Botswana next?
Thank you so much. I think for me, we should look at the benefits for the students, for the countries, both sides. Also, for us, as Nigerians, we should focus on uninterrupted academic session. That's key, uninterrupted, because throughout 18 years before I came home on 2019, we never had a strike in Botswana. Academic strike, no. So we should focus very well, because when we are saying we want to Japa and Japa back, yes, I can tell you 100% of those that were sponsored by Third Fund to Botswana, they are back to Nigeria now. 100% of them. So they have Japa, yes, but Japa back, of course, yes. So for me, please look at the universities you are interested in. LAUTECH is also getting very well. So for the take I'm going to give every one of us here now is to look for a university that is performing very well. University of Ibadan, yes, right? Very well. University of Botswana, yeah, Malaysia, you have talked about Malaysia, but the key thing is your return on investment must be such that the parents, the countries, they will benefit. Thank you.
Professor Norris.
Thank you very much. one thing that I can say is that as we have these student exchange programs, let it not be unidirectional to the West. Let it be bidirectional, both ways. And then the other thing is, let's also promote student exchange within the African continent. Thank you very much.
And Professor Babalola?
Well, I would say that student exchange is a key that opens doors. If you make use of the first exchange well, that will lead to other exchanges, and that will lead to a number of connections. And you just discover that you are so much connected all over the world, and your social capital is very, very high, irrespective of where you live. And if you make the best use of it, I want to tell you, wheresoever you may be, you'll be proud of yourself. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It simply means that you also consider Africa when you are thinking about going to school. You can school in Kenya, in Botswana. You can go to South Africa. You'll be well-rounded through student exchange program. And I learned that many of them have the opportunity to come back with funding. And that is key. We need to fund research. And as we fund research, we'll get better output. And that's one thing that is lacking. Because I'm close to the university communities. Are we still churning out well-rounded research that will solve our problems? You know, one question I said I'm going to ask Songo doing when I bring him on radio again is to say, can Lautech come up with an idea that will solve this incessant problem of potholes? Are we using the right materials? Can we develop new materials to solve the problems? Our education system should be finding solutions to those systems. And we've agreed in this discourse that with exchange program, we can bring the world to us and we exchange ideas. We have to build the kind of structures and budgets to make it viable. You head of Office of International Program in UI. We have to make such offices better in the future by funding them. Scholarships, getting more scholarships and giving more people the opportunity for exchange program. And I hope you've enjoyed this discourse. Let me thank Professor Jonathan Babalola for your contribution. Professor David Norris, thank you. Professor Songo, thank you for making me interested in Botswana. And Professor Adurinke, thank you very much. So we have come to the end of this panel. Wait for the next panel. Thank you. I am Edmund Obilo.
All right, the panelists will be taking a picture right now, so you can see. Please, can we give them a bigger round of applause? Yes, a big round of applause. Thank you so much. Please hold on as she's coming. Our host is coming, so she could be part of that photographic memory. Yes. Can you put her in the middle, please? Yes, better. That's better. All right. So we